Did you know that mochi was once thought to have mystical powers? A legend from the 8th century explains that once a mochi turns into a white bird and flies away, demonstrating its metaphysical importance. In the Heian period, it was used in sacred rites of births and weddings and was a sign of blessings and reunion. Mochi is more than food. It's a glimpse into centuries of Japanese culture and tradition. Mochi is a unique food from Japan that is made from rice. Long ago, people used red rice to make it. Mochi is important in Japanese culture. Around the 6th century, people started making mochi at home using clay steamers. An old story from the 8th century is about a rich man who made flat mochi from leftover rice. He shot an arrow at it, and the mochi turned into a white bird and flew away. After that, his rice field stopped growing. This story shows people believed round white mochi had special powers. During the Heian period, that's 794 to 1185, mochi was used in Shinto events for births and weddings. Nobles put mochi in babies' mouths at 50 days old, and brides and grooms ate it together after their wedding. Mochi also became part of New Year celebrations. People thought fresh mochi meant a long life, and dried mochi made teeth strong. Later, the samurai started the Kagami mochi tradition. They loaded 2 rounds of mochi with a bitter orange on top. When it was time to eat, they smashed it with a wooden hammer instead of cutting it to avoid offending the gods. Nowadays, making mochi has become easier with the use of multiple flour and machines that mechanize the pounding process. Making mochi is a unique tradition in Japan. It's something families and communities do together, even though it's not as common today. Many people in the countryside still make mochi the old way. You can also see it in temples, shrines, and community centers, especially before the new year. The traditional way of making mochi is called mochitsuki. It uses only one ingredient: sticky rice. First, the sticky rice is washed and soaked in water overnight. The next day, it's steamed until it becomes soft and ready to use. The steamed rice is put into a big wooden bowl called an usu. Then, people use wooden mallets called kine to pound the rice. 2 people work together. One pounds the rice and the other turns and wets it. They have to be careful and keep a good rhythm so they don't hurt each other with the heavy mallets. After pounding, the rice turns into a sticky, stretchy dough. This dough is cut or shaped into small pieces, like little balls or other fun shapes. Today, making mochi is much easier than the old way. People use a special flour made from sweet rice called mochiko. This flour is mixed with water and cooked on a stove or microwave. It turns into a sticky white dough. This process is done twice, and the dough is stirred in between. After cooking, the dough becomes soft, stretchy, and a little see-through. Now there are even machines to help make mochi at home. These machines do the hard work of pounding the dough, so people don't have to do it by hand. They also control the temperature and ensure the dough turns out just right. In big factories, mochi is made on assembly lines. The rice is chosen to make the mochi chewy, but not too hard. It needs to be strong and easy to shape. Some types of rice make mochi that's too hard or grainy, which isn't good. The best rice makes mochi that's soft and easy to cut. There are 2 main types of machines used in factories. One machine makes the dough, and the other shapes it into balls or other forms. Sometimes the mochi is filled with sweet things like red bean paste. The machines also control the temperature carefully. If the dough gets too cold, it won't turn out right. Scientists found that the best temperature for making mochi dough is 62 degrees Celsius. That's 144 degrees Fahrenheit. If it's lower than that, the dough won't harden properly. What is mochi made of? Let's find out. Mochi is a type of rice cake. It's low in calories and fat. The main ingredients are rice and water. The best rice for making mochi is sticky rice, also called sweet rice or glutinous rice. This rice can be white or brown, but it must be short grain. Long grain rice doesn't work well because it doesn't expand properly. Water is essential in the early steps of making mochi. Other things like salt or flavorings can be added for taste, but they shouldn't be mixed into the rice until the mochi is shaped. The rice is formed into balls, flattened and cut into pieces or rounds. Making mochi in big factories is exclusive. The machines must confirm the mochi has the proper moisture so people will like it. How to keep mochi fresh? The best way to keep mochi fresh is to freeze it. Wrap each piece tightly in a plastic bag before freezing. Mochi can stay in the freezer for almost a year, but might lose some flavor or softness over time. Food additives like modified tapioca starch sometimes make mochi last longer. Moreover, you can add different flavors to the mochi dough to create various delicious options. Plain mochi is simple to make. The main ingredient is a special type of flour made from sticky rice. This flour is called shiratamako or mochiko. Both are made from the same kind of rice, but shiratamako is more refined and feels smoother. Mochiko is less sophisticated and has a doughier texture. Other ingredients include water, sugar, and cornstarch to keep the mochi from sticking. You can also add different flavors to make all kinds of tasty mochi. Finally, mochi ice cream is widely enjoyed today, with many US and European companies producing it. And the credit goes to Mikawaya's innovation. Mochi ice cream is a fun and yummy dessert. It's made of creamy ice cream wrapped in a soft, chewy rice cake called mochi. This treat has become super popular in Western countries. You can find it in supermarkets and Asian restaurants. People love it because it comes in many flavors, has bright colors, is gluten-free, and is low in fat. Mochi ice cream combines traditional Japanese mochi and Western ice cream. Mikawaya, a Japanese sweets company in California, started it all. The company was founded in 1910 by a man named Hashimoto Ryuzaburo. He moved to the US from Japan. At first, Mikawaya made traditional Japanese sweets called wagashi. But in the 1980s, the owner got an idea during a trip to Japan. He tried a sweet daifuku mochi, a soft mochi filled with sweet red bean paste. He thought, what if we put ice cream inside instead? That's how mochi ice cream was born. Mikawaya worked hard to perfect the recipe. In 1994, they tested their new mochi ice cream in their Honolulu store in Hawaii. The flavors were strawberry, mango, vanilla, green tea, and coffee. Hawaii was the perfect place to start because many Japanese immigrants lived there. Their food traditions are mixed with local flavors, creating a unique food culture. Soon, mochi ice cream became a big hit. It spread to Asian grocery stores and restaurants across the US. Big supermarkets started selling it too. Today, many companies in the US and Europe make mochi ice cream, but it all started with Mikawaya. Yukimi Daifuku. While Mikawaya made mochi ice cream in the US, Japan had its version. In 1981, a Japanese company called Lotte created Yukimi Daifuku. This was Japan's first mochi ice cream. Back then, people in Japan mostly ate ice cream in the summer. But by the 1980s, homes had heaters, so people stayed warm indoors during winter. Lotte had a clever idea. Make ice cream to eat inside during the cold months. They called it Yukimi Daifuku. Yukimi means snow viewing, and the packaging had warm red colors to match the cozy feeling. Before Yukimi Daifuku, Lotte had a similar treat with marshmallows instead of mochi. But marshmallows weren't as popular in Japan, so they switched to mochi, which everyone loves. What makes Yukimi Daifuku special? One big challenge was making mochi that stayed soft even when frozen. Lotte worked hard to create a special type of mochi that was soft and stretchy. They used a special rice flour called habute ko and carefully balanced the sugar to keep the mochi moist. They also made smaller batches to keep the texture right, even though it cost more. Over 40 years, Lotte improved the mochi texture 9 times. Yukimi Daifuku is still Japan's most popular mochi ice cream. You can find it in supermarkets and convenience stores all over the country. So what's your favorite way to enjoy mochi? Have you tried making it at home or tasting unique flavors like green tea or mango? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more fascinating stories about food and culture worldwide.